Boxing Sweet Science 2.0. Today's Thursday. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's being safe. I know we got the COVID thing going on out there, so I just want to make sure that everybody's around, up and at it. I hope y'all can hear me well. I hope everybody's good. I'm supposed to be going live today with the main man himself, Mauricio Suliman, the president of the WBC. What's up, Laylo? What up, everybody? So we're just going to talk boxing, talk life, talk belts, try to get some answers to some questions, find out about the man himself. Nothing major. I'm not trying to grill him, make him feel uncomfortable. I just want to talk to him and get to know him. I think a lot of people want to get to know him, so I think that's really important. A lot of people have questions, so we want to ask those kind of questions. What's up, man? And hopefully we get some answers. He's supposed to be coming in at 6, but I don't know exactly what time he's going to come in. I like to be punctual. That's why I like to start. But there's I have a lot of people sending me questions once I post that he was going to be here. A lot of people were sending me questions for him. But I'm just waiting for the man himself. I'm honored that he would take the time out to come and chat with me. And you know, so I'm really, really, really honored. Thank you. Give us a minute. Okay, no problem. No problem. But yeah, so we are here waiting for my man Mauricio Suliman. So we're going to chop it up. We're going to talk boxing. We're going to talk life. We're going to try to get to know him, ask some tough questions, but not too much. We're not going to try to scare the man because I know he deals with it a lot all the time. But how you guys doing? What's up? And if you want, maybe you could put an honest, civil question in the comments for him, and I'll ask him. But I have my own questions for sure. Ask him the green belt more credibility than at this point. Nah, see, I'll see. We'll see. Ask him about what gonna make this year. That's funny. Yeah. So I hope everybody is safe out there. Just found out one of my good buddies out there caught COVID. Luckily, thank God he pulled through. But our prayers is with him, and it took a strong guy down. So I know how serious it is. I'm interviewing Mauricio Suliman, the president of the WBC. So I'm excited about it. He should be coming in shortly, sending me requests, and we'll go live and we'll talk. Can I interview Canelo? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't ever see Canelo doing live interviews. But if anybody can get him, if anyone can get him, I think I can. Yeah, I tried to get Canelo one time. I mean, I'm big enough. Hell, I think I'm big enough. Yep. So, let's see. Again, I'm still here. I'm still waiting. I know they're not going to stand me up because they're honorable people. So we have some good questions. I mean, get your questions together. Why don't you guys start formulating your questions for him? Canelo, please. Canelo, please. Listen, like I said, if anybody can get Canelo, I probably can. And I probably will one day. I'll get the biggest names. I promise you. I'll get the biggest names. How you doing? I'm blessed, man. I can't complain. I'm out here picking cotton, trying to build, doing something I love, talking about boxing. I could do this all day, forever. If I never make a dime off of it, doesn't matter to me. This is what I like. This is my passion. So this was, what's up? What's up? How you doing? Yeah. So, y'all excited about the best boxing? Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Listen, the thing is this. We have some big fights coming this weekend as well. I don't know if you guys have been tuned in to the Steph Fulton fight on Showtime, but that's a big deal. I like that fight. I got Steph winning that fight. I'm making my prediction early. I have him winning that fight. Can you join me in? No, I can't join you in now because I'm waiting for Mauricio Suliman to send me a request. And once I get him in, then we'll go live. I'm waiting for the president of the WBC, Mauricio Suliman, so we can chop it up. Yep. Let me check my other phone, make sure I don't have any messages saying anything that's different than what it is. All right, cool. Nope. No other messages, so we should still be waiting. I hate the dead air. Yeah, Lalo is a Golden Boy fan page. Actually, he's not even a Golden Boy fan page. It's 3 p.m. over here. Yeah, I know. And that's the time we're supposed to go on. So it's supposed to be 3 over there, 6 over here. But Lalo is a Canelo fan page. That's his whole page. Anytime you post something about Canelo, he gonna run and find something on Floyd. It's so funny. It's hysterical. But we're not the same. We are not the same. We don't do the same things. We don't post the same things. I don't demean fighters. I don't troll fighters. I call a spade a spade. I speak truth to power. And that's how that goes. Yeah, it's gonna take a few minutes. I just seen his assistant came in and told me that just give them a few minutes. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't believe that they're gonna hold me up. So when he kicks in, that's all we can do. We only can control what we can control. Can't worry about nothing else. What state? Oh, he's in California. Somebody just sent me a request, but I don't know who that is. Let me see who that is. Oh, that's not him yet. You have never boxed. It's funny that people say that they are boxing, but they never put a pair of boxing gloves on a day in their life. I mean, again, don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that doesn't give a person credibility, but how can you really say you're boxing if you never put a pair of gloves on and threw a punch or got punched in your face a day in your life? So that's really funny when you hear guys say that. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, absolutely. But listen, man, I support everybody, man. I think everybody is doing their thing, and everybody have their own contribution to the sport and what we love. So it's kind of cool, man. It's kind of cool to have different perspectives. I respect everybody's opinion. Sometimes I don't agree with it, but I respect everybody's opinion, and that's why I think the people acknowledge me, because they know I'm fair and I'm firm. I'm not here to hurt anybody or trying to belittle anybody or any race. I mean, listen, if anybody know me, they know I love everyone. There's no, race and all that. That's just dumb. That's just never been me. I never raised like that. My mother didn't raise me like that. Father didn't raise me like that. So it's just never been us like that. So we respect people. We treat people with respect, and we expect the same thing. There's no two ways about it. But boxing is a unifier. Boxing is that one thing that unifies people, right? From all walks of life, from all over the world. If you have a passion, it's almost like fishing. I don't know about you guys, but I like to go fishing. And when you go fishing, I'm waiting for the request from Mauricio Suliman. What's up, man? How you doing, man? Good. I'm glad to see that you're going home. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm just waiting for the man. Nancy told me that you got to give him a few minutes, so I'm excited. I'm waiting for him. I know he's a busy guy, and I'm happy that he's taking some time out of his schedule for me. But yeah, so like if you go fishing, right, and you get around a whole bunch of people, you'll realize that if you never fished a day in your life, somebody's going to come over there and somebody's going to bring you a rod or show you how to cast your rod right next to them and teach you how to fish and teach you the ins and outs about it. So this is the same thing about boxing, right? There's a love that everybody had, even if you never did it. There's a love, and it has to be a respect for the fighters, because you know what it takes. Everybody knows what it takes to walk. I mean, even if you don't, but you can imagine what it takes to go in and earn your money being punched in the face. How many people have ever done that? A lot of people have never done that. Like, people go to work and they flip burgers, they drive cars, they type, but nobody goes to the office to get punched in the face to earn a living. And a lot of fans don't respect fighters enough to understand that, they are a special breed. It takes a special skill to go and do that, man. T.O., what you think about the fight? T.O., I don't know, man. I think if I had to guess, I would think Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney probably is going to happen. But those are that's one of the questions that I'm going to ask Mauricio Suliman. about once he comes on. So she said, give him a minute. And I'm not, listen, I'm honored that he said he's coming. You don't want to do no exhibition fight. You just want to eat. You want to have an eat off. You want to have a McDonald's eat off, Lalo. You don't want to eat. You don't want to box. You want to have a cheese fried dip eat off. Get out of here. Who you fooling? If you wanted to box, you would go to a gym. You've never ever done anything like that. So, it's all good though, bro. It's all good. But listen, it's true, man. You want to have a cheese fry eat off. You don't want to box nobody, man. If you did, you get the smoke. I mean, you talk a lot of crap. Somebody listen, we gonna find out your knuckle game. Somebody definitely gonna run up on you at one of those fights. And they're gonna see what you made of. It's a mindset. That's right. It's a mindset. It's a mindset that a lot of people you have to box. You can't just. I mean, I think if you dissected every fighter that went far in the sport, and you cut their brain open, you'll find that there's something in the corner of their left hemisphere of their brain that's all the same. It has to be, because I don't believe that the average person just wakes up. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for buying the badge. I appreciate you. I don't think people just wake up and say, listen, this is something I want to do. You have to have a calling. Like, boxing calls you. You don't choose boxing. Boxing chooses you. It's not like me. I'm an engineer. I went to school for engineering, but that was one of my aptitudes, right? Because I'm good with math and stuff like that. So I took that and I ran with it when I couldn't make it in boxing, right? So you realize that you have to find your strengths. And when you try to gravitate towards something, it may reject you. But if boxing calls you and you can answer the call, you're a special breed. You're a special person. You're 100% special. There's no two ways about it in my mind. Yeah. So here's the thing. Again, I appreciate anybody that supports and buy the badge. Thank you, everybody that's buying a badge. I really, really appreciate you. It's not a lot of money, but it helps. It helps to pay for my flights to the fight, right? But listen, again, I'm still waiting for Mauricio. He was supposed to come on. He's supposed to come on. I know Nancy just came in and said, give them a few. So I'm not going to, complain. I just hope they do come. I can't afford to stand up. Let me see. No request yet. What's a badge? A badge is a donation almost, right? So all you have to do is, I don't know how to do it. Well, if you see the badge thing there, you just press and donate whatever you want, I guess. It's actually cash. That's what it is. It's cash, but Instagram holds it. So my account is certified to, I guess, get payment. So that's what that is. Hey, if Ryan and Tank fight are not happening, I don't know if you guys remember when I was on live with Ryan. When I was on live with Tank, and I told him that I don't think the fight actually happens, and he looked at me kind of funny. If you don't believe me, saying that to him. Go to the page. I said, listen, in my opinion, I don't think that fight happens. He was like, no, it might, but I just don't think it will. It's too much at stake, unless they was going to fight on the Jake Paul, Logan Paul undercard. But then when I spoke to Ryan was under the impression that him and Tank should be a headliner. So I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So I don't think they should be on the undercard of a Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather fight. So with that two things in mind, I just don't know if that fight happens or not. I really don't. Honestly, I would love to see that fight. I want to see the best fight the best. I want everybody in the division to fight the best. And I want everybody to stop excluding Lomachenko because he only has 2 losses. I think Lomachenko can be a champion at 135 again. I know that he's not going to compete at 130 because he took his loss, his only loss, well, his second loss at 135. And when you're a guy who has so much confidence and, machismo, if you lose in a division, you don't run to a lower division. You go back and you avenge that loss in that division, and then you move on. So in my estimation, I never thought that Lomachenko would go down to 130. I think that he would only compete at 135. He would stay there. He would find maybe a confidence building fight or something tough enough that he would fight and come back. And if he can't get Teofimo, which I doubt he does, I don't think he'll ever get Teofimo, but I think he can make his way to another title. Now, this is one of the things I wanted to ask Mauricio is, can those fights be made with Teofimo and Devin Haney? Or why isn't Devin Haney fighting, what's his name? His mandatory, Javier Fortuna. These are a lot of questions that I have to ask because I'm just curious. Because I know Javier Fortuna has been in the wings for a long time, waiting for his title shot, and he's never got it. So it's funny to me that Ryan Garcia is the mandatory for Devin Haney, but Devin Haney wants to fight Teofimo. But where does that leave Javier Fortuna? So these are the questions I have to ask. I'm just waiting for the champ or the man to come in. And again, this is not me trying to drill him. Not at all. No way, form, shape, or form. It's just me asking questions that people want to know. And I know he's a politician, so I just want us to do straight talk. Just two friends chopping it up. And I want to find out certain things. So I'm excited. I hope they don't stand me up. I know Nancy sent a request that just give her a second, so I'm just waiting. Again, I said that like 1,000 times, but I'm just waiting. Let's see. I know it's early over there in the West Coast. It's kind of late here. I'm trying to read some of these comments. And listen, a lot of fighters, see, because boxing is a business. A lot of fighters use their name or other fighters' name to gain notoriety, right? Because if you're the champ, somebody who's not the champ who wants to be the champ, they're going to call you out. And once you do that, then people take notice to him because they say, oh, guess what? This guy's not afraid of anybody. And this is one of the things that made me love Teofimo Lopez. And this is 100% true. You can look back in whatever interviews that ever went on. Out of everybody that was mentioned at 135 that's popping right now, Ryan, Devin, Tank, Lomachenko, all of those guys, I've never heard anybody directly call Lomachenko out outside of Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez was openly calling him out. Devin Haney might have mentioned his name, but it was never a name. When everybody had Teofimo Lomachenko at #1 pound for pound, nobody was really calling Lomachenko out. They were like going around each other, but nobody was calling him out. The only person that was really doing that was Teofimo Lopez, and I think that's admirable. And he called it out, and his dad called it out. Devin did, but Devin did it in passing. Devin does that stuff. And I'm of the impression that, and I say this with all due respect to Bill Haney and Devin Haney and those guys, I see more talk on that side than I do see action. Like, I don't know, like, it's just so much stuff that I would like to see more from Bill and Devin Haney. And I have nothing but respect for them for what they did and how they came up through the game. But, like, I see interviews where Bill's saying that we're the boss. We're the boss. All the fights go through me. But they had to wait for Matchroom to give them approval. So it's either you're a boss or you're not a boss. Like, a boss doesn't ask for approval. So these are the things that when you make these statements and make me double check you. Like, I'm my boss, right? So nobody can tell me what to do or what I'm doing. If you are the boss, then you can do the same thing. You can make those decisions. Floyd Mayweather was a boss. When he said make the fight got made. It doesn't matter who it was the fights got made. So when I'm talking, and listen, I'm talking in regards to the Gary Russell and Devin Haney fight. Now, when I make these statements, I don't assume or I'm not making any inference that either one of those guys are scared of each other. But it just raised a question as to why couldn't that fight get made? It's a simple fight. Then when you dig into the details of the Gary Russell and Bill Haney situation or Devin Haney situation, you find that they was offering Gary Russell a purse that they didn't have, which was Devin Haney's purse. And then to have Devin Haney fight Gary Russell, they wanted him to sign a promotion deal to Devin Haney promotion. And I get it, it's good business, but if you just want to fight, you want to fight. Gary Russell ain't looking to be signed or promoted by Devin Haney. He just wanted to fight. He wanted to make a check for that thing. So when you throw these things in the mix, I just don't believe that you really wanted to fight. Like, what in their mind would think? I mean, believe me, Gary Russell got a lot of offers from promoters over the years to be signed to a promoter. So why would he ever sign to Devin Haney after a fight? So now, think about this. I fight you at your promotion on your network, and I sign a deal saying that should I lose, I have to sign to your promotion deal. Guess what? That guarantees me that I'm going to lose, because even if I win, the judges are not going to make it happen. Everything is going to be in your favor. So when I look at stuff like that and I hear stuff like that, I just say to myself, I don't think those guys really, really wanted to fight. I find it odd to offer a guy a deal, like let's just say me and another person wanted to fight. Why would I want them ever to sign into my promotion deal? If we're going to fight, we're going to fight. So that's one of the things I have, one of the questions I have with Bill Haney. And then I seen another interview where he say he's the man. But if you listen to Bill Haney talk, it's more politics. He's always going in circles. It's never a direct answer. I'm a straight shooter. I call a spade a spade. If you ask a question, I expect the answer. If it's no two ways about it. There's no, man, this and that, and all that stuff. I just can't do it. I'm a straight talker. I can't find the way to understand people that obfuscate. The people like to get out their conversations by saying other stuff. I just can't do it. He coming. I believe that he's coming. Let me see. I had something must be up. He's not answering any of us. I just got a text saying that look, if you think I'm lying, it says something must be up. He's not answering any of us. So, I don't know. I hope he comes. Maybe he reneged on me. That's sad. That would be sad. Can I explain the mandatory? So ask me a specific question. Ask me a specific question if you want to know about the mandatory. I'm supposed to be going live with Mauricio Suliman, the president of the WBC. But I don't know, man. I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope he comes. I don't know. What is a mandatory? Okay, if a champion has a title, right? Let's just say they win a championship, a WBC belt. The next person in line who is supposed to get, there's three of us trying, something must have happened. I just got a message saying there's three of us trying and something must have happened. I can't imagine what could have happened, but whatever. All right, she says she's still calling him. So what happens is, so the next person in line would be considered a mandatory. The next person in line that's ranked by the sanctioning body would be considered the mandatory for the championship, to the champion of that sanctioning body to fight. So that's what's considered a mandatory. They have to fight that person before they move. Technically, they're supposed to fight that person before they get a choice. What's up? Before they get a choice of their next opponent. So it's that's what a mandatory is. Still calling. Okay. Please. I'm just responding back to the people. So that's what a mandatory is. A mandatory is the next challenger in line for a title shot. You know, so because think about this, if a champion won a title and they see a guy that they don't like, or they might be too tough, they might not want to fight him. But technically, if you look at the mandatories, the mandatory would be the next thing to the champion, right? Because he's the next best thing. Based off the ranking system that the sanctioning bodies have, they would rank the next person next in line. So, yes. Is he on? Yes. Hold on for a second. I'm trying to find out. Is he coming? I hate the day there. I'm sorry, people. I'm just responding back. That's why I don't like to announce fighters or people coming, because it's always something. It's always something. I don't see. Yep. This is part of the reason why, honest to God, when I started Boxing Sweet Science 2.0, one of the things I wanted to do was just talk about boxing. I never really wanted to interview people. I never wanted to talk about people, because I've always felt like I never want to ask anybody a favor. I don't like favors. I don't like asking anybody for anything, because when you do that, you feel seconded to them, and then you're working on their own time. But I do realize that people like to hear from the fighters. I personally, I don't feel like I hate asking people for things, because I don't want to owe anybody anything. I don't like to hear no. I don't like rejection. So I try to set myself up to put in that. But when a person gives me their word, I expect them to keep it, because I always keep mine. So we are trying to figure out what is going on. I don't know. So, I mean, she's responding back to me. She's being honest, but I just don't understand what could have happened that fast. Answer my question. What was your question, sir? I'm sorry, I didn't get your question. Bro, I got a question. All right, ask your question. Let's do that. Let's do Q&A. Talk to me. Send your question. If you want to go live, I'll go live with anybody right now, because it seems like we're trying to get Mauricio. I don't know if it's going to happen. This is part of the reason why I don't like. It's supposed to be Mauricio Suliman, the president of the WBC. Why Canelo skipped David? Well, you got to understand, and I'm not making an excuse for Canelo, but Canelo was fighting at 160 for a second. David Benavidez was at 168. David Benavidez lost his title on the scales. Canelo made the decision to move up to 168. Canelo is trying to gain titles at 168. So right now, David Benavidez doesn't have a title at 168. So that's why that fight never got made. But this is my honest thinking, and this is my honest opinion for everybody. I honestly believe 100% that now that Canelo is a free agent, I think we're going to see all the fights that we wanted to see. I honestly don't believe that Canelo was ever ducking anybody. I think some fights didn't make sense to him. Some fights didn't make money. But I think it was more of a business aspect. All right, send me a request. I'll go live on anybody. What's up? Who want to go live? Send me a request. I'll go live with you. So Yildirim was David Benavidez's mandatory. When he got stripped, he still had his mandatory spot. So when Canelo petitioned to fight for that belt, then he became the mandatory for Canelo. because he's not technically the Canelo's mandatory. He's the WBC's mandatory, and whoever has that title is who he has to fight. So it could have been Canelo, it could have been anybody. Whoever had that title at 168 was supposed to fight him. Let's see who this. Let's go live. I'll go live. I'm accepting anybody because I'm trying to kill time. Oh, he's going on now. Okay, so I can't go on. He got confused with the time. That's what they said. He got confused with the time. All right. Let's see. Something is happening. So maybe you should send me a request. Mauricio is here. I can't see his request, though. Let me cancel her. All right. Nancy, where's Mauricio? He has to say he's on, but I can't see his request. Where is he? I got to send him a request. Where is the chant? Oh, there you go. He's ready to join. I'll send him a request. Go live with Mauricio. Whew, he had me panic for a second.
I'm so sorry. I got with the time difference. I thought it was at 6 Mexico. I'm so sorry.
Oh man, I appreciate you. Thank you, man. And I'm happy you made it because I started panicking. You know, I was losing my hair.
You know, for me to be on time has been always. My father always said you have to be 10 minutes before an appointment, and I'm so sorry, but I'm here. So
no, I appreciate you. Thank you. First of all, it's still January, so I can say Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to your family. I hope everybody is well. I hope you all being safe and everything like that. I'm glad. First of all, I'm glad you took the time to come on with me because there's a lot of people who have a lot of questions, and so I seen your interview with the other guys, and that's not what we're doing here. We're not doing any of that. What we're going to do is we're going to talk like two friends, old friends. I'm going to ask you some questions. You answer them just like two friends talking. No issues, nothing like that.
Right? Absolutely. You know, there is nothing better for an organization than critics. When you have a critic, it helps you become better. But if it's a systematic situation without merit, so
yeah,
any question, any topic, I'm here to respond and to address, and I'm just honored to be in your show.
Oh, thank you so much. So listen, one of you, I know you know our friend to the room. We have a mutual friend, you and I. His name is Rodney, and his question to you was he wanted to know if the WBC and the UFC ever going to do the family feud thing.
Absolutely, we kicked ass.
Okay,
that was so much fun. When we did the family feud, celebrity feud with Holyfield and Bo and Ryan Garcia, Sean Porter, the UFC fighters. It was something so good. It was for charity. We enjoyed it, and it's something that bonds and makes a difference. And I'm just very happy that it happened, and very thankful to my dear friend Rodney.
Oh, okay. You know he's recovering from COVID now.
I know.
He's getting better now.
I talked to him yesterday, and he spent New Year's and Christmas in the hospital, and his voice. But he's a champion. He's a champion, and he's recovering, and he will be okay, and we'll have a running for a long time.
Yeah, hope for God. Thank God, man. He's a good guy. I really like him. So now we had the Yildirim and Canelo fight just was announced.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of people have questions about how that happened. I understand how it happened, but for the people that are tuned in that don't know, I want you to explain to them how did Yildirim become the mandatory when he was inactive for 2 years and he lost his last fight.
Yes. What happened? Yildirim fought Anthony Dirrell, I'm sorry, for the vacant title. And it was a very good fight. Yildirim won the 8th and the 9th round. At the beginning of the 10th round, there was an accidental headbutt which created a cut, and the fight was stopped. The fight went to the scorecards. Dirrell won split decision.
A split. It was close.
It was close. It was a good fight, and Yildirim was coming very strong at the end. So the WBC did order an indirect rematch.
Okay.
Dirrell was to fight Benavides, and the winner to fight Yildirim. So Dirrell fought Benavides. Benavides conquered the title.
Right.
And Yildirim was going to be he was the mandatory who was going to fight for the title. But then the pandemic came.
Right.
During the pandemic, Yildirim, being in Europe, could not travel to the USA. So the WBC allowed Benavides to fight Angulo. With the condition that Yildirim continued to be mandatory. Okay. So Benavides does not make the weight. Right. And he loses the belt on the scale. The title becomes vacant. Right. Who is the person mandatory? Avni Yildirim.
He's still the
mandatory contender.
Correct. Okay.
So Canelo petitions the WBC that he wants to fight for the super middleweight title, and he was going to fight Yildirim. And in the period from October to November, they reached an agreement to fight Callum Smith for the title, with Avni Yildirim stepping aside, with the promise that the winner of December 19 would fight Yildirim next. And that's what we're going to see February 27th.
And that's a quick turnaround for Canelo, because, I mean, this is the fastest he's fought since he's probably been active, since he was younger, back in the day. I mean, this is like 4 months in between or something like that.
Not even, it's 2 months, and that's exemplary. Canelo lost a year with the pandemic. Couldn't fight in May, couldn't fight in September. But he said that he was going to fight last year and end the year with a positive note for the world. He did it, Smith, and I'm very happy that action in February.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited about that. So my next question is, all right, and I know you hear this all the time, the franchise.
Yes.
The franchise, the 135 belt. So I'm going to phrase the question to you and try to answer the question as a friend, not a politician. So answer the question just like this. All right, so Devin Haney is the regular champion, correct?
Let me, if I can explain, I think that would be a good start, and then you can make me some questions.
Okay, cool.
The WBC has been the leader in the sport to make changes. Right. When there was no anti-doping, the WBC established in 1975 mandatory anti-doping. The WBC changed from 15 to 12 rounds. We banned the 6-ounce gloves. We created the 4 ropes instead of 3 ropes. And so many things.
Changes. So many things, right.
Most of them are for the safety of the sport. Creation of weight categories and medicals and all these things. One of the things that we have begun is a new concept, which is the franchise champion. Right. This is designed for the very few boxers that lead the industry in the sport. So 2 years ago, we designated Canelo Alvarez as the franchise champion, with the understanding that he would represent the WBC in any fight, to allow him to go to any weight category against any fighter, any champion of any organization, so he can be active and give the best fights for the fans.
Right.
That started, and we have seen Canelo fight. He fought in super middleweight, then he went to light heavyweight, came back to fight the Miracle Man, Jacobs.
Danny Jacobs,
Danny Jacobs. And then he just fought super middleweight. And he has decided to be the WBC champion in the division, not enforce the franchise tag or franchise benefits. Okay. And he's going to defend the mandatory, and he wants to unify the whole division.
Okay, now that's the question, because initially my understanding, and when you was on the Zoom call, that was my understanding, that the franchise designation meant whoever held that title or that designation did not have to fight a mandatory.
That is correct.
Okay, but Canelo is changing that rule and saying, because he's the franchise champion at 160, correct? Or does that travel wherever he goes?
Yeah, that travels for wherever he fights. But when he petitioned to fight for the WBC title,
right,
which he did against Callum Smith,
right,
then he has said, I will not take advantage of the franchise designation. I am going to do the mandatory title defense. And now I want to make the mandatory and go on to defend against, to unify against other champions.
Gotcha. Okay. So now, that same statement was true for Lomachenko when he was the mandatory, correct? When he was the franchise champion.
Yeah, Lomachenko became, he petitioned and was awarded the franchise designation.
Right.
And there was a very interesting plan behind that division, because he wanted to unify all belts with Teofimo Lopez.
Gotcha.
The WBC granted that, and the WBC upgraded Devin Haney from interim champion to WBC champion.
Regular champion.
Yes, and so when the Lomachenko Lopez fight is set,
right,
we get a petition where Lopez claims that he wants to become WBC champion and wants to be the undisputed if he defeats Lomachenko. The WBC Board of Governors approved that, modified and upgraded the rule of the franchise. And that's why that designation was placed in the ring, in the belt.
Got you. So now, Devin Haney being a regular champion, how can Teofimo be undisputed if you still have a regular champion in the division? Now, please explain that one. Without politics, explain that one.
And I understand. I understand the confusion, and I understand the frustration. And I just want to ask all of you to have the patience now this new situation to develop in the sport. This is a new thing.
Okay.
The franchise is a new concept. So when you have a rule in the NFL like the instant replay, it evolves, it changes year after year to try to perfection it. That is the same situation with the franchise. It's a new concept and it's evolving. So what we have in the lightweight division, we have Teofimo Lopez as the franchise champion. He unified by fighting Lomachenko. We have Devin Haney as the WBC champion, and Ryan Garcia is the interim champion from the result of what happened 2-3 years back that I can explain if you want me to.
But you did that on a Zoom call. You explained to me on a Zoom call.
Yes.
So I remember that.
Okay.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
No, you can continue.
This is something that I am very happy to see what is happening inside the ring. I am happy to see that the very good fights in the lightweight division are happening, and that the future of the division is formidable. So if this creates confusion, this creates yes or no, and is he or not, I take that as a second to what we're looking in great fights in the ring.
But now, here's my other question. We have Ryan Garcia was Devin Haney's mandatory, or is Devin Haney's mandatory, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so you have Javier Fortuna, who was the mandatory for the WBC's belt that Devin Haney has. Where does he fall in the line now? When does he ever get his shot?
Okay, what we are doing, we are leaving the parties, the promoters, to discuss among themselves to see if they can find a route in which we can accommodate the great fights that will happen in the division. We are in a unprecedented times for humanity.
Right.
The pandemic has limited many things with regards to travel restrictions, to COVID-19 protocols, events without public, etc., etc., etc. We're going to have this week to see if there's something that can be arranged between the promoters. The WBC is not a promoter. The WBC facilitates, goes with the rules and the medicals. Unfortunately, we're not the promoters. Any other
Right.
sport, the leagues, they have to do, but in this case, the sport is run by the promoters. So we're hoping that the promoters will get together, understand the need for the best fights to happen, and let's see if they can put together a series of fights to get them into the ring and have the best fights in the ring for the fans.
But okay, so here's another question for you. I had a conversation
Yes.
with Ryan Garcia. Right? And my question to him was, I posed it. I said, listen, Ryan, why should Gervonta fight you when you don't have a big title? You don't have a something to offer him. And Ryan's response to me, titles don't mean anything, he said. Can you hear me?
Please, can you please repeat, because you froze a little bit.
Okay. So I had a conversation with Ryan Garcia, and I asked Ryan Garcia, would he fight Tank? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I said, why would Tank fight you if you don't have a regular championship belt? Ryan's statement to me was, titles don't mean anything. Now,
wow. Is that what Ryan said?
Yeah, that's what he says. He said, titles don't mean anything anymore. Just hear me out. I'm not trying to get him in trouble. I'm just trying to give you a question. So Ryan is saying, if I want to fight the best, I should be able to fight the best, whether they have a title or not. Now, the reality is, he's such a big star that can really be a thing where he doesn't really need a title for people to come watch him. Now, if that kind of thinking catch hold, how does that affect you and other sanctioning bodies where big name fighters who have a great following just want to fight the best and they don't need a title? How does that affect you? How does that look? How do you feel about that?
No, the titles are the ones that make the careers of the fighters. And the fighters are the ones that make the greatness for the sport. Everything is about the fighter. I'm not going to go into what he said or what he didn't say, what the others say, etc., etc. I only care for the benefit of the fighters. They are the young kids who have a dream, who work very hard, sacrifice their life into the ring and give the fans and the sport the greatness. So, you know, when you are young and you say things that has happened many times, and tomorrow they say a different thing, and
for sure,
I don't take that as a decision situation. But I have spoken with Ryan in person, and he has been so very humble, very nice, very appreciative.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to go into the merits of some.
No, and I'm not looking. I'm not looking for you to do that. I don't want to pin you guys against each other. That's not what I was trying to do. I just was trying to get a feel for the new wave of things with YouTube fighters who don't have titles, but they have fanfare. And Ryan has that kind of fanfare, and he doesn't have a title. So I just wanted to get your feel for how that actually could change or affect.
Yeah, it is something. It has happened always. The reality is that the boxer is a kid who comes from humble beginnings. They sacrifice, they overcome many obstacles, and then they become great and successful. So I will always be in the fighter's corner, regardless of what they say. Ryan Garcia is young, he's successful, he's got a bright future. Same as Devin
Absolutely.
Haney, same as Teofimo Lopez. Lomachenko
Right.
is a true force. Linares is a true force that is coming back. Fortuna is a true force. So I just want the best fights to happen in the ring. And I will take all the heat, all the blame for the franchise designation if that is needed. But I know that in the future, it will prove that it was a very good decision and that it has changed and benefit the sport of boxing.
Again, I'm not going to hold you up, but I have two more questions for you. One is, when you have a fighter that's defending your title, and let's just say they're fighting against another person who's not defending the title, how do you stay neutral in that? Do you only root for the guy that's defending your title when you're at the fights, or are you looking at the fight just saying, okay, may the best man win?
I did not clearly understand the meaning, but there are rules that have to be followed.
No. Let me restate the question.
Yes,
so
please.
let's say you're at a fight and you have two people fighting. One is fighting, defending your title, and the other one is just a guy that you know very well. Who do you root for when they fight?
I love this question. I thank you so very much, because I asked this question to my father when I was a little kid. I was born in a boxing family where we had in our house, having lunch, Muhammad Ali, Chavez, Leonard, or a young prospect trying to become a fighter. And I used to tell my father, what do you feel when your Muhammad Ali, when your Sugar Ray goes into the ring? And he categorically taught me that whenever that bell rings, there is no name, no person, no nationality.
Right.
Because the champion who is your champion and has been defending your title means exactly the same as that challenger who has a dream of becoming your champion.
Right.
When the fight is over, when the fight ends, you feel absolute empathy. You feel great happiness for the winner, and you feel great respect and sadness for the loser. And I thought that was not possible. I thought you could not have those two feelings at the same time. But the reality is that you feel so happy for the one who won, and you feel so sorry because the one who lost perhaps the dream of his life. He might never ever fight again for the title, or he just lost his title. So it's a very complex situation inside the ring. My father always taught me, when you go in the ring, you first go to the corner of the fighter who lost. And you show him respect, you show him support, you tell him of how proud you are and how he will be back. And then you go and celebrate with the winner with true happiness.
Oh, that's great. That's a great answer. So now,
sorry, you froze a little bit.
can you hear me?
Now, goes back to boxing one way or another. We don't make money from the sport. We have people around the world as board of governors, committee members. Nobody makes money from boxing. So that gives us a very strong moral responsibility, a great attitude that nobody can blame or can say that we took a decision because of the money. I don't know if now I can see you again.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, they were saying it's bad. I didn't ask that question, but I was saying we're having a good time talking, So it's no big deal. I'm having a good time talking to you. One of the last questions.
Thank you.
The last question I'm going to ask is Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Now I know you're not a promoter. You're a sanctioning body. But how does that work now if Tyson Fury doesn't fight at X amount of time? Does he have an obligation to fight at a certain time before he could get stripped? Or he has to face somebody that you appoint? How does that work?
Let me explain to you the mandatory rule. The mandatory rule comes from the early years when a fighter was ranked #1 and the champion would not give him the opportunity. Napoles waited 6 years. Archie Moore waited 6 years as #1 contender to be able to fight for the title. So the mandatory rule is that once a year, the champion must fight against the mandatory contender.
Right.
So what we have now, Fury against Wilder, the second fight was the mandatory of the division, February 22nd. When Fury knocked out Wilder and won the title, they advised the WBC that there was a rematch clause. And they were going to look if Wilder wanted to exercise that clause, that contract. The pandemic came and we were led to believe that the fight was ready for December 19 for the third fight between them. And right now we are notified that they are in mediation to see what is going to be the resolution, whether they will do the third fight or whether that contract is no valid. So we are without a possibility of making a ruling at this moment.
But do you have a time limit on when you would like to see him fight for your title or defend your title?
Correct. With the pandemic, the WBC has been constant and consistent, allowing every seat to be addressed specifically to each situation. For example, we have a champion, Ubali. He was going to do the mandatory with Donaire, but he contracted COVID. And then there's restrictions for travel. So every weight category is being addressed differently. Right now, there is no mandatory in the heavyweight division because Povetkin knocked out Dillian White, who was going to be ratified as mandatory if he beat Povetkin. So there is no mandatory at this moment. We're waiting for the resolution of the Fury-Wilder resolution, and from there, the WBC can't rule and make a statement. Heavyweight division is going to be ruled.
Okay, cool. So listen, I really, really, really appreciate you taking your time. I know that you get a lot of flack, a lot of heat, because people don't understand the business of boxing. They don't understand a lot of things that have to go on behind the scenes, how things move. I happen to understand. It doesn't mean that I agree with everything, but I understand. And I applaud you from coming on and explaining eloquently, describing all the rules and details that go on in boxing. This 2021, I think, should be a great year for boxing. And the reason why I say that is because Canelo is a free agent now. So I think we'll be able to get the big fights that we've always been asking for, minus the politics, because now he can move from wherever he wants to go to fight and fight whoever he wants to fight. I think that's great. But I would love to see Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. I would love to see Teofimo and Devin Haney become one and make that belt or the division either undisputed or unified. So is Teofimo technically undisputed?
Yes, yes. I don't want to get into.
Frozen.
I don't want to. You just froze. Can you see me?
Okay. I don't know if it's you or me, but it looks bad, and I can't really hear you now. So listen, can you hear me? Come back in.
Yes, yes. Now I see you again.
Okay.
There's that you just put it perfectly. All we want to see is Haney against Garcia, Haney against Teofimo, Haney against Linares, Haney against Fortuna.
Right.
All these great fights to happen. So give me a week. I'm gonna work on this and all I can say, Devin Haney is very close to my heart since he was a young kid.
No, you just came back in. I'm here. I'm here.
I'm so sorry for the internet problems, but I am sure 2021 is going to be a great year for fights. They will go into the ring and it's just going to be sensational.
So again, I'm not going to hold you up any further because this internet is technically telling us our time is up. So I appreciate you. Much respect to you. I honor you. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you for coming on with me.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for the problem of the times, but anytime I will be here, and I appreciate this time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right.